So the homepage of the library is getting a new look. Why is that happening, and what kind of response, what kind of feedback are you getting from the community?
Sure. The website redesign is a project that's long overdue. I would say 2005, 2006 was the last time a serious effort was put towards that website. And consequently, today it isn't functioning at the level we want it to. So the goal is to prioritize the tasks that people have in mind when they approach that website. So we've been using surveys, for example, and they're very, very simple surveys, but we give you a list of everything that's on that website right now, just what's on the home page, plus things we think should be there, and we ask people to prioritize them. We've had over 500 people respond to that prioritization exercise, and it gives us a real sense of what are the key tasks and goals. So we'd like for the home page to visually be different. We want to start again to rebrand it and make sure it looks like it's part of Yale, but at the same time reflects what the branding is we're trying to create for the Yale University Library System, but also much, much more functional. So it's focused on the key tasks that are there. Once we've done the website redesign, and that should be done in August, and that's just the home page, we then have the task of more than 80,000 web pages exist below that home page. So how do we go about thinking about how we prioritize those pages and keep them up to date? So we have both infrastructure-wise, we need to move to a more modern platform. We're going to use Drupal as the platform. But we also have a content issue. We have so much content that's out there. Some is out of date, some is current. We have to review all of that and then think about what is the structure, what is the click path from the home page to each of the pages that you need to get to, making sure that the most important tasks are the closest to the home page. If you have to go 3 or 4 clicks, that's too many for a key task. So there's a lot of work that's being done to understand through focus groups, through surveys, through watching activity on the web page. So looking at what people put into the search box, what are they searching from our home page? That gives you a sense of, well, they were looking for the hours, for example, and they're not finding it, obviously, from the clicks on the home page. They've got to put hours into the search box. That's evidence to us that that's a key task. Yet the home page isn't facilitating finding that information.
So there's currently new Orbis and old Orbis. What's the vision for the interface of the collection?
For the catalog. So the Orbis catalog, as you say, we have new Orbis and we have old Orbis. We're doing a catalog upgrade of the software system at the end of May, at which point we'll have most of the functionality that's in old Orbis in the new Orbis interface. So probably this summer we're going to see old Orbis go away. But that's just really one step towards improved what we call discovery systems. So if you think about it, the catalog is a silo of information. It's just about the physical objects that are in the library and just some of our electronic resources. But we have other silos of information as well. JSTOR is a great example. So there's articles within JSTOR. But if you do a search within Orbis, you would never discover the articles. All you would discover are the journal titles and whether we have them. So there are new technologies out there that are sort of these discovery systems that bring together both the content that you own as well as the content that you're licensing, and starts to merge together this idea of books and journals and articles. Because it's not intuitive to think if I want a book, I go to the catalog. If I want an article, I go to a database. I mean, you have to sort of learn that. That's not intuitive. The Google world doesn't suggest you go to different silos to find that information. So our goal in the next year or 2 years is to explore the discovery systems that are out there and see if there's one that's appropriate for us. One of our challenges is we have such a vast collection. So these systems aren't really designed for something of our scale. We're just one of the biggest libraries in the world. So that's one of the challenges. The other is that more than half of our collection is not in English. And many of these discovery systems do really, really well with English, but non-Roman scripts, for example, Arabic, it doesn't display necessarily the right way. And we don't just have one language, we have more than 500 languages in our collection. So finding tools that work at a scale and a scope of Yale is one of our difficulties. So there are wonderful commercial products that are out there that we can take a look at. But with anything we pick, there's going to be a lot of customization that would need to be done just to bring it to sort of to fit the basic needs of a Yale's collection.
So there's recently been a lot of conversation about paid journals open access journals have been suggested as an alternative. What are your thoughts about open access journals?
So open access is a very complicated topic
Okay.
because on the one hand, it makes a lot of sense. From a faculty member or a researcher's perspective, they go through all this work to make a discovery, to write about it. Then you'd want the broadest, most possible audience for your article, for your book. You want people to read what it is you've discovered. So on the one hand, you want the greatest possible audience. On the other hand, however, if you think about the tenure process, how do you get tenure? Well, you get tenure by, in part, publishing in the best journals. And until those journals are interested in an open access model, which really takes away their revenue stream, we have this tension going on. Because on the one hand, you want everyone to be able to read your research. On the other hand, you need to go through the current steps that are necessary to reach tenure and to achieve your promotion. So the faculty have to sort of make this decision along the way, whether they want to publish in an open access journal and give up perhaps some of the prestige that comes with publishing with one of the more well-established journals. And so often what you might see are junior faculty who are less inclined to publish in open access journals because they're focused on the career path and the tenure track process. But once they get tenure, then they feel like they have more freedom to consider participating in the open access movements that are going around. So it's not just a scholarship issue, it's not just an issue between libraries and publishers. There's a whole nother element to it that often people forget about, which is that the tenure process is tightly twined with the promotion process and with publishing. And until that sort of gets settled out, it isn't clear which is the best way to go. You want a professor to be able to get tenure if possible, and you don't want to put something in the way that jeopardizes it. So from the library's perspective, we support both kinds of journals. We subscribe to the ones that still require payment, but if there are open access journals, we'll make sure they're in the Orbis catalog as well, so that you'll discover them as well. We don't have, though, the mechanisms necessarily to preserve those open access journals. They're out there on the web. Unless we downloaded every article, printed it, and bound the journal, in many ways we don't, again, have that archival copy, which is something that we're also very concerned about. So there are a lot of issues at play here, and I think too often people think of it in a dichotomy of pro-open access or against it. I think there's subtleties in the middle there that really need to be explored some more.